Well, let's get the very latest, of course, on the ground from our eNCA senior reporter, Slindelo Masikane, Aviwe, Mtila, as well as Moloko Moloto, joining us right here at the Johannesburg Expo Centre in Nasrec. But I understand, Slee, that you are at a different location, colleague, and good morning to all three of you. Yesterday, between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m., now that was supposed to be the arrival and registration day and time set out for branch delegates. From where you stand, are all branch members of the ANC registered?
Not at this stage. In fact, we do have it on good authority that there are delegates that slept here at the UNISA Conference Center overnight, and that is due to the fact that they could not complete the process within the time frame that they had set out yesterday. And of course, due to the fact that there are over 4,000 delegates, it was going to be a lengthy process, and I think many of them who are, of course, looking forward to the next 5 days decided that they were not going to go to their various accommodations, but decided to just sleep where they were seated to be able to resume the registration process this morning. You can see behind me that we do have security personnel outside of the actual venue. When we arrived, they had informed us that in fact, they have not completed registration, and they are expecting a number of delegates to actually return this morning. And in fact, we have seen a few of them coming out of the registration center with their conference packs. I am joined, in fact, by one of the non-voting delegates, that is Archbishop Sikhala, who I understand spent the night inside the conference center. Archbishop, thank you so much for your time this morning. I can tell you're very tired. Maybe just tell me about when you arrived and what you experienced inside. And I just need to understand what motivated you to stay for the evening.
Well, yes, I came here yesterday 9 o'clock in the morning. We wait here the whole day and the whole night, so hoping we'll get our credit card. So we get it right now, but we sleep here the whole night. So the system is down. We cannot blame anybody because I think it's a load shedding, but we hope our organization will emerge strong, and we are here for prayer for this organization to say. I just want to say we were not in a hurry to leave our credit card here, so we want to go to the conference. In fact, yes, we want to go to the conference because we want to pray for our glorious movement from today. Yes.
Maybe tell me if you know of which regions, maybe which provinces still need to be accredited, which delegates remain inside still waiting to be accredited. I think you mentioned some from Limpopo, some from KwaZulu-Natal, and I think you said that Gauteng as a whole still needs to be accredited.
No, I think it's Gauteng because they were supposed to come here at 5 o'clock in the morning, but they're still inside. I don't know the others, I'm not sure, but we did not sleep the whole night. We just sit on the chairs waiting for our credit card, including those voting delegates, some of the provinces. But I think part of Gauteng, half of Gauteng, we're waiting for the cards, and also the pastors also, they received their cards this morning. So imagine from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday until now. But we are not in a hurry to say, no, we are blaming everybody. We are not blaming anybody because this system is down. Yeah. So we are happy. We can see I'm having my last one, hoping I will also go inside and pray. Yes. And that's fantastic.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Archbishop. I know you're very tired, and I need you to at least get a little bit of some sleep before you head to Nasrec. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, no, you see, when you work on a voluntary basis, in the politics, they are saying you must just comply and complain later.
Comply and complain later.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ajwe. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Dumela, just some perspective from somebody who was actually inside, giving us a sense as to what motivated them to stay for the evening. This is one of the religious leaders that will be kicking off the program, in fact, this morning. We know that proceedings are supposed to start at around 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., but I think it all really depends on what happens behind me in terms of the program moving forward.
Yeah, indeed, Slee. I mean, definitely hearing about load shedding also impacting, registrations not going as thoroughly as expected. Gee, I suppose this was expected. I mean, when we went to register as media, right, we experienced the same thing.
It was exactly the same. It
thing.
got to the point where I actually ended up downloading the area, one of the apps. I'm sure many people use the same app for your load shedding and blackout schedule, and there was load shedding. They do have generators, but it took a bit of time for that to come online, the generator, and then you can imagine restarting all those systems. And there weren't that many media. I mean, there is a lot of media. I'm sure if we have an outside shot, you'll see how many media houses are here. But imagine trying to do that for all the delegates that haven't been registered, all the volunteers. And as Slee says, 8:30, 9 o'clock start, could start looking a little tenuous as well at 18 after 6. But we're going to continue to take you around Nasrec. So you heard just a moment ago Slee's guest saying inside the plenary hall all night. However, it's quite a different story for eNCA reporter Moloto, who's also with us. Just forgive the slight delay on the line, by the way, to our reporters. Moloko, hello to you. Near the plenary, outside the plenary, but definitely not inside the plenary itself.
Well, that's true, Gareth. We actually are not allowed to go beyond that police official that you see there. And of course, the plenary is the conference venue where the delegates will be gathered to discuss a way forward, but also importantly to elect the new leaders of the African National Congress. This, of course, is a conference of branches. There's a total of just over 4,000 branch delegates, and they constitute 90% of the delegates who will be voting here. The remainder, of course, being the members of the current National Executive Committee, but also the Provincial Executive Committee members. And also there is still a little bit of a confusion, and I guess we will get clarity as time goes on as to whether the members or people who are serving in the executive structures of the disbanded structures such as the ANC Youth League, the Veterans League and the Women's League, whether they will be voting. But we know that in terms of the branches, the province that is bringing the highest number of branches is KwaZulu-Natal, followed by the Eastern Cape, and in third position is Limpopo province. We're going into this conference, or the ANC is going into this conference, while the two provinces, the Free State as well as the Western Cape, haven't gone to their provincial conferences. In other words, they don't have elected leaders. But as I said, it is a conference of branches. The branch delegates from those two provinces, along with the other 7, will certainly be participating. And of course, we are expecting that later on, the president of the ANC will be tabling the political report. Usually such is open to the public and the media. And ordinarily, you will have the Secretary General presenting what is called the organizational report. And at this point in time, because the Secretary General Ace Magashule is suspended, he is not going to be participating in this particular conference. You have the Mr. Paul Mashatile, who is acting in that position, but he is not going to be tabling that organizational report. Still, it is going to be tabled by the Deputy President of the ANC, David Mabuza. This is because Mashatile has requested, given the intensity or the enormity of his work, because he, as the Treasurer General, must also present the financial report. So they have shared those responsibilities of compiling those particular reports and tabling them before the plenary. But overnight we heard, Dumelo, that actually the former president Jacob Zuma has actually thrown the cat among the pigeon when he issued a media statement telling the nation that he is privately prosecuting President Cyril Ramaphosa, and he's saying that this matter will be heard in the South Gauteng High Court sometime in January. And essentially this, he is suggesting that the president of the ANC, therefore now that he is charged, according to him, will then have to step aside. That certainly is going to be a talking point, because the president released a statement at about 4 o'clock this morning. It dropped, and he is saying, this is Ramaphosa, that this is just a frivolous matter actually, because if you look at it, he is saying the former president is abusing the processes, the court processes, saying that he has not even received the non-prosecution certificate from the National Prosecuting Authority. And what are the charges? I'm sure our viewers want to know. This has to do mainly with what the Mr. Zuma apparently complained with regard to Advocate Downer, and the president is saying, look, when the complaint came, he then informed the Minister of Justice to have the conduct of Mr. Downer reported to the relevant authority. So he's basically saying, look, this is a non-issue really, but you can rest assured it's going to actually find its way to plenary. Already Mr. Zuma has said that the delegates must actually reject the political report by the president and the organizational report as well. So it's going to be tense, and this obviously tends to confirm that the ANC, having emerged from the 2017 conference as a divided organization and having committed to unite and renew, it hasn't achieved that, because when we were here in July, the president admitted that this movement is highly divided, and he was saying they are not, as ANC members, necessarily divided along ideological differences, but purely along the desire to hold position and to access resources for patronage and obviously the abuse of power.
Moloko, Moloto, thank you very much indeed. Just setting the scene for us as well, because very much the focus for Moloko T is going to be what's happening inside the plenary sessions as well. But a bit like some gatekeeping, if you will. We're only going to be given the information by the authorized ANC people when they go into these sessions, when they come out of the sessions as well. So that's what will be known as a closed plenary session. So you'll start hearing the word plenary sessions a lot in the next few days as well. They're only getting underway proper a little bit later this morning. If you have just joined us, we're 24 minutes after 6 o'clock, the first open plenary session. Now that Moloko was talking about it, by the way, if, unlike Slee is saying, if it all goes according to plan with registrations around 9:15 this morning, between 9:15 and 12 o'clock, the political report from the #1 politician in the party, of course, President Ramaphosa, for the first open plenary session should start 9:15.
Yeah, and hopefully, of course, it will start because, as Moloko was trying to summarize for us, there's a lot of legal issues now in the mix. Last minute, if I may add as well, which may throw the whole conference in disarray. What does it mean for the step-aside rule? Because we know that each time there is a criminal charge laid against a member of the ANC, the issue of the step-aside rule then comes into place. So will it continue? Will it commence? We'll have to wait around and see. But I want to move on now to eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, also joining us right here at the Johannesburg Expo Centre in Nasrec. Aviwe, good morning to you, colleague. I mean, we know that while in the mix and the political report will receive from the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, we know that the ANC Youth League and the TASK team on the other side want more of a generational mix, a new crop of young leaders. What can we see being thrown in terms of expectations from this conference, but also from the young ones who are also wanting to lead from the front?
Good morning, Dumelo, and I was listening to my colleague Moloto just now on the news, of course, that we heard on the eve of the conference itself around the private prosecution of President Cyril Ramaphosa. And it got me thinking how for the last two conferences at least, there's always been some headlines. The last time when we were here in 2017 in Nasrec, it was the announcement of the free higher education by former President Jacob Zuma a day ahead of the conference. Now, of course, there is that private prosecution of President Cyril Ramaphosa by former President Jacob Zuma, which, of course, the presidency has come out and said that that's the abuse of power when it comes to using private prosecution. One of the issues that I'm assuming will be contentious as the African National Congress goes into this 55th National Congress conference. Of course, we're expecting around 6,000 delegates to be here. Around 4,200 of them will be making that decision who leads them for the next 5 years. The top 86 structures that will be the highest decision-making body of the ANC in between conferences. I am in the media area now, where my colleague Mkhumudzi Stuki is going to show you around, and this is where, of course, we're expecting around 300 media personnel to be on the ground, and of course, we will be bringing you all the news as it happens. So basically, it's a very peaceful one. Southern liberation will now be getting its leadership, and what comes out of it, you understand that in modern times we're expecting young, fresh